This is Primetime News on Mitv. I am Tomisin Adebokola, and here are top stories. The federal government assures of end to ASU strike as universities are sued to reopen. INEC bows to pressure, extends voter registration by 60 days. In foreign news, earthquake kills at least 1,000 people, injures 1,500 in Afghanistan. And sports, Bayern Munich completes signing of Mane in £35 million deal. Now the news in detail. The federal government on Wednesday gave the assurance its face-off with the university-based unions will soon be resolved and academic activities resume in earnest. The federal government has also denied the allegation it was planning to create a different timetable for the academic staff union of universities for their payment schedule. Filling questions from State House correspondents at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by the President, Muhammadu Buhari, at the Council chamber, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, said the government was interested in seeing the students go back to school. The minister said the meeting on Thursday is expected to look at the progress report by the relevant bodies handling the crisis, including Mitv, on how far it has gone with the integrity test on the University Transparency and Accountability System (UTAS), which was proposed as an alternative platform by ASU, and the University Peculiar Personnel and Payroll System (IU3PS), proposed by SANU and NASU.
No employee or worker can dictate to his employer how he or she will be paid. It's in the ILO principles at work. But government gave this privilege in consonant with Executive Order 3 and 5 for local content development. And I support it. So NIDA on their own was doing their test. And when NIDA gave their preliminary results, they said acceptance, user acceptance was the one that had a pass. But that the whole thing is a total package of vulnerability and stress test. Vulnerability, whether this platform or this system can be hacked into.
The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has said that the upper chamber will next week, Wednesday, screen the 7 ministerial nominees forwarded to the chamber by President Muhammadu Buhari for confirmation. Lawan stated this in an announcement at plenary also on Wednesday, moments before the Senate adjourned plenary. President Muhammadu Buhari, in a letter dated the 15th of June 2022, requested the Senate confirm the nomination of 7 ministerial nominees. President Buhari had on Tuesday forwarded the names to the Senate for screening and subsequent confirmation. In the letter by the President, he explained that the confirmation request was in accordance with the provisions of Section 147, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended.
Next week, the screening of ministerial nominees on Wednesday next week.
In another development, the Senate has considered a bill seeking to establish the Police Pension Board. The bill, which scaled second reading on the floor, was sponsored by Senator Elisha Ishaku. Leading the debate on the bill, Ishaku noted that the current pension arrangement of the Nigeria Police Force is under the Pension Commission by virtue of Section 5 of subsection 1 of the Pension Reform Act 2014. He added that the Nigeria Police, through a premier law enforcement and security agency, was left under the contributory pension scheme, unlike the Army, the Navy, or the Air Force, and even the Department of State Security Services, DSS, the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, and the National Intelligence Agency, NIA. They have the separate pension boards, respectively. The lawmaker expressed dismay at the disparities between the pension and gratuity benefits of the Nigeria Police and those of a counterpart in the military.
A meager 2.5 million naira, his counterparts in the military and other security agencies take 12.8 million. A gap of over 10.3 million naira on the same people serving on the same rank. This means, Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, and my most distinguished colleagues, the Nigerian police force is receiving an equivalent of 19% of what their counterparts in other security or sister agencies are receiving.
A bill for an act to establish the police pension board to handle pension matters for personnel of the force and for connected purposes 2022 second reading taken. And the bill is referred to the Committee on Police Affairs for further legislative action to report back within 4 weeks.
Meanwhile, the two senators from Bauchi and Imo State have resigned their memberships of the All Progressive Congress APC and People's Democratic Party, respectively. The lawmakers are Senator Dauda Jika, representing Bauchi Central and elected on the platform of the APC, and Senator Ezenwa Francis Onyewuchi, representing Imo East Senatorial District, who was elected on the platform of the PDP. Both senators, in the separate letters addressed to the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, on Wednesday, conveyed their decision to resign their membership of the APC and PDP to join the Labour Party and the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP), respectively. The minority parties in the Senate presently now becomes 5 in number as of Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. Wednesday's defection brings the number of APC senators to 66, with members of the minority parties standing at 43.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, letter of defection. Letter of defection. I wish to inform Mr. President and distinguished senators of my defection from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the Labour Party, LP. This is after due consultation with my family, constituents, and supporters. This will enable me to participate fully in the movement for a new Nigeria. Except the assurance of my...
The national chairman of the All Progressive Congress APC, Abdullahi Adamu, has expressed concern over the wave of defections of the federal lawmakers in the party to opposition parties. He said these on Wednesday after a closed-door meeting with party members at the National Assembly. Senator Adamu admitted that while the party is worried about the gale of defections, he said nothing can be done about it. He further noted that defections are normal during an election year, as those who feel dissatisfied with the outcome of the party primaries are free to test their popularity in other political parties.
Yes, we have noticed that there's this wave of senators leaving your party for elsewhere. What's happening?
Well, it's an unfortunate development when it happens. But this is a season for all manner of behavior in the political space in the country. And this is not, Nigeria is not an exception. In every election year, this kind of sub-step, give cause for people, stakeholders to sneeze. This is what we're experiencing. Nigeria is no exception, and the APC is no exception. I don't give a damn what's happening in other parties. I care what happens in our party. But you and me know that it's not just the APC that's having this experience, this situation. Because we are the ruling party, yes, our problems are more prominent in the public glare.
Are you worried about people leaving and abandoning the party? I'm worried about it.
No reasonable person, no responsible leader will not worry losing one member, not talk of 2 or 3. At the moment, we know we are faced with a stark reality.
Against the backdrop of the public outcry, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has agreed to extend the ongoing continuous voter registration (CVR) exercise by 60 days. The House of Representatives at last Wednesday urged INEC to extend the deadline for the continuous voter registration for an extra 60 days from the 30th of June 2022 to enable more Nigerians register. The Commission on Tuesday assured Nigerians the Commission will comply with a court order to extend the ongoing continuous voter registration to the 30th of June. The exercise, which was meant to end in June, was greeted by calls to extend it further. But on Wednesday, the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Electoral Matters, Aishatu Jubril Duku, while briefing lawmakers, told members during a plenary session that the commission had agreed to extend the CVR to 60 days. The People's Democratic Party in Lagos State has debunked all insinuations that the party is seriously faced with unsettled crisis after its governorship primaries. Chairman PDP Lagos State, Honorable Philip Ivoji, warned members of the party against doing anything that can tear the Lagos PDP down before the forthcoming 2023 general elections. Ivoji said the commission are the outcome of the just concluded election in Ekiti State, where PDP became a distant third, calls for sober reflection for all loyal and committed leaders in the party in Lagos to start thinking of how to work towards unity instead of doing things that can further divide the ranks. The chairman noted that distractions here and there are designed only to make the party ungovernable for recognized state leadership.
Lagos State is solid, is formidable, is united, and we are one family. It's rancor-free, and we are ready to take the state by the grace of God, especially the governorship and the presidential election in 2023. We are all rallying behind him. We are all supporting him, irrespective of different groups that has come up. We have collapsed the group, and we are one formidable party, despite the fact that he was not given the ticket. I commend every one of them because we believe that this is our time to win the state for PDP.
The Lagos State Commissioner for Housing, Fatai Maruf, says the housing community within the state government is using a key figure that has contributed to increasing housing needs in Lagos. The state advised on Wednesday at the retirement and Thanksgiving ceremony of the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Housing, Wasiu Olasukomi Akeoshola, at his retirement and Thanksgiving ceremony on Wednesday in Lagos. The Permanent Secretary said the Lagos State government had targeted to complete the abandoned and uncompleted building in the state. He added that the ministry had completed and commissioned about 20 projects in the state at an affordable rate for residents. Akeoshola thanked Almighty God and everyone who has been working with him while he was in office, urging the Lagos State housing family to move the shelter forward and ensure every Lagosian are sheltered.
The housing community within the Lagos State government is losing a very key figure that has contributed to housing in Lagos State in the past 30 years.
We have so many abandoned projects and completed projects on ground. So we gave our target that we needed to complete all of those projects, and by God's grace, about 20 projects now we deliver and completed, and even commissioned most of them. We thank God for all of that, because by the time that you are looking the profile of Ministry of Housing between 2019 and now, you see that they have delivered so many housing projects, more than whatever any administration had done before. We thank God.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, has stated that the greedy importers are responsible for the preponderance of substandard goods in the country. The Director General, SON, Malam Farouk Salim, who disclosed this on Wednesday in Lagos, explained that these unscrupulous importers are in business of importing fake products to make excess profit, not taking into cognizance the negative effect it has on the Nigerian populace. Salim stated these are the destruction exercise of some substandard goods it intercepted in various markets across the country. Earlier, President of Cable Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Kaman Bukola Adubi, said Kaman has been having several conversations about how best to stop the menace, saying that adulteration has been hitting deep into manufacturers' bottom line.
Every time you sell a product, I repeat again, you're taking away jobs from your family and from your community and from your country. People should understand the consequences. You can save 1 naira, you can make 1 million naira, but at the end of the day, we are dealing with the consequences. We have unemployed youth all over the country. We don't have enough money to build our infrastructure because people are not paying taxes. And then, if anybody here knows that there is somebody in your house right now who is very qualified, who is very intelligent, but they cannot find work to do. And this is honestly because of substandard goods in our market.
Tell the federal government that taking SON out of the port is not the best decision. You know, we need to reevaluate that, because all of these things coming out would be better if it has already been saved from coming out in the first place. And the only way to do that is the ports. So having them chase around containers on the streets is pointless, because we also know that these people have ideas, they have strategies. They do it in the middle of the night, they do it when everybody is asleep. So SON needs to go back to the ports. They need to go back to where this problem is emanating from and nip it in the bud. It is about time.
Serious issue. The very unfortunate aspect of it is that the life of people is endangered by substandard goods that are brought into the country. A lot of terrible things are happening because of the activities of some importers who are importing goods that are below the requirement.
A powerful earthquake has killed at least 1,000 people and injured many more. We'll bring you details of that story and others from the foreign scene after this break.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go! Getting free premium television is as easy as 1, 2, free. 1. Make sure you purchase any free-to-air decoder or satellite receiver. If you already have one and any dish, you are good to go. 2. Enter the settings on your decoder or go to our website to learn how. And free. Scroll through and find Premium Free Bouquet. It's that easy. 25 channels with access to 200 more. Free forever. No cost, no subscription, 100% free. Take the next step. 1, 2, free, and just watch. Start watching Premium Free today. Why pay? Just watch.
Welcome back. In Afghanistan, over 1,000 people have died from the earthquake, while 1,500 people have been injured in the eastern part of the country as the ruling Taliban appealed for international help for the rescue effort, as pictures showed landslides and ruined mud-built homes in the province of Paktika. The quake struck shortly after 1:30 GMT time, and that's about 21:00 GMT, as people slept on Tuesday. Hundreds of houses were destroyed by the magnitude 6.1 event, which occurred at a depth of 51 kilometers, about 32 miles. It is the deadliest earthquake to strike Afghanistan in 2 decades and a major challenge to the Taliban, the Islamist movement, which regained power last year after the Western-backed government collapsed. The administration of President Ibrahim Raisi in Iran is continuing its push for regional diplomacy as tensions with the West over its nuclear program continue to build up. The conservative president came to power in August 2021 with a promise of extending a hand of friendship and brotherhood to other nations, with a special focus on the region. His officials continue to advocate for a balanced foreign policy approach that does not reflect or neglect any opportunity to improve relations, with the exception of Israel. But his administration has so far been mostly only successful in strengthening ties with the East. Brussels and NGOs have expressed concerns about the several European Union countries, including Germany, reverting to using coal for power generation as the fallout from Russia's war in Ukraine hits energy supplies. European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen told several European media outlets in an interview the Ukraine crisis will be used to move forward and not to have a backsliding on dirty fossil fuels. The shift, a reaction to power-hungry Europe being increasingly starved of Russian gas and oil, seriously undermines the EU's vaunted ambition to become climate neutral by 2050.
Defining moment for Europe, and it is a moment where we see that Putin's war is also a question of the resilience of democracies. At this summit, we will rethink European defense with strong capabilities. We will rethink energy. We have to get rid of the dependency of Russian fossil fuels. And for that, we need massive investment in renewables. This is also a strategic investment in our security and our independence. It creates jobs at home, and it is homegrown. We're independent. And we will also certainly discuss.
The U.S. Senate has taken a first step towards passing what has been called the most significant new gun controls in a generation, as senators voted to speed up the passage of the bipartisan bill when it could be signed into law next week. Although significant, the proposals fall far short of what many Democrats and activists have been calling for in the wake of a spate of mass shootings. The measures include tougher background checks for buyers younger than 21. The bill calls for funding to encourage states to implement red flag laws to remove firearms from people considered a threat. The act also includes $15 billion in federal funding for mental health programs and school security upgrades.
To ensure that another group of parents are not planning funerals instead of planning summer vacations.
Every one of these people would be more than glad to sit in a room and compromise and say, where can we meet in the middle here?
What's the willingness to compromise here? Are there certain measures you are willing to walk away from in order to, get something basic off the ground?
We don't want to get into the specifics of what we're willing to compromise on, but we need to at least be in the arena. We have to be in the chamber to have the discussion.
In Congress, enough Republicans in this.
We'll now take another break. When we come back this time, we'll bring you sports stories. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. Sadio Mane has completed a £35 million move from Liverpool to Bayern Munich on a 3-year contract. The Reds will receive 32 million euros, about £27.4 million, with an additional 6 million euros based on appearances, plus 3 million euros for individual and team achievements. Liverpool turned down 2 bids for Bayern before agreeing a fee for the Senegal forward, who was under contract until next summer. Mane joined Liverpool for £34 million from Southampton in June 2016 and scored 120 goals in 269 games, finishing last season with 23 goals in all competitions. Mane helped Liverpool win the Champions League and the Premier League, and in February scored a winning penalty as Senegal won the Africa Cup of Nations for the first time. The protracted saga of whether Ousmane Dembele will sign a new contract at Barcelona is fast approaching a conclusion, with still no deal in sight. Dembele's deal at Camp Nou ends on the 30th of June, and it was not yet signed an extension to make it ever more likely is to become a free agent. Barcelona head coach Xavi still sees the Frenchman as a key player as the clock ticks down to him leaving, and is making final plea to player and board to get him signed on to a new contract. The question still remains open after months of back and forth, but goal has learned Xavi is insistent that Dembele be given a contract offer he is willing to sign. And Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal are keyed in the title race at Wimbledon, which serves on Monday, where 8-time champion Roger Federer, the world's top 2 players and cherished ranking points will all be missing. Djokovic is bidding for a 7th title at the All England club to move level with US great Pete Sampras. Nadal, fresh from the 14th French Open victory and a record-extending 22nd major, is halfway to the first men's calendar Grand Slam in more than half a century. The decision to ban Russia and Belarusian players in the aftermath of the invasion of Ukraine means there is no place for world #1 Daniel Medvedev or 8th-ranked Andrei Rublev. And that brings us to the end of our news tonight. Let's take a quick recap before we call it a wrap. Now, the federal government is assured of the end to ASU strike as universities are set to reopen soon, the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, says. And INEC is bound to pressure and extended the voter registration across the country by 60 days. In foreign news, an earthquake kills about 1,000 people and injures another 1,500 in eastern Afghanistan. And Bayern Munich has completed the signing of Sadio Mane in a £35 million deal. That's it on our news tonight. Thanks for joining us. You can recap any of our programs on our Facebook page or our YouTube page at MITV NG. I am Tomi Singh at Devokola. Do have a pleasant night. Good night.